Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to hear about the Warwick Townwide Safety Action Plan. Whether you've been checking in for updates and attending our public meetings, or just tuning into the project now, this video will bring you up to speed on what we've done so far, how we're developing the plan, when it will be completed, and what we're doing next. My name is Zach Grote, and I'm with the Creighton Manning Engineering, part of the consultant team working with the Village of Warwick on this project, along with our partners in the Transpo Group and VHB. This recorded presentation is part of our second phase of public engagement, and it is designed to provide an update on the project, share what we've learned so far, and explain the next steps in developing a safer transportation network for the town of Warwick and the villages of Warwick, Greenwood Lake, and Florida. Today, we'll provide an overview of the project schedule, summarize what we heard during the first phase of public outreach, review findings from our crash analysis and stakeholder interviews, discuss the priority locations that we've identified, and preview the types of safety improvements being considered. We'll also discuss upcoming opportunities for public involvement and introduce some related safety initiatives currently being implemented throughout Warwick. This project began with an initial kickoff phase, followed by public engagement and stakeholder interviews. Since then, the project team has completed a detailed review of crash data, analyzed public feedback, and identified potential safety concerns throughout the community. We are currently entering the phase where priority locations and improvement recommendations have been developed. Public input collected during this stage will help refine the final safety action plan before implementation begins. Public involvement has been and will continue to be an important part of this project. Our first phase of outreach was designed to help us understand how residents, business owners, visitors, and other stakeholders experience transportation safety in each village within the town. We held one town-wide meeting to cast a wide net, and 3 village-level meetings designed to address hyperlocal concerns from residents of Greenwood Lake, Florida, and Warwick, as well as an online survey. In total, more than 260 comments and responses were collected through meetings, surveys, and community discussions, providing valuable insight into locations where residents feel unsafe and helpful to validate trends observed in the crash data. Several clear themes emerged through public outreach. The most common concern involved unsafe conditions for pedestrians and cyclists. Residents frequently cited missing sidewalks, insufficient crossings, and driver behavior around crosswalks. Speeding was another major issue, particularly along key corridors entering the villages and near community destinations. Specific locations were mentioned repeatedly, including West Street in Warwick, Maple Avenue in Florida, and portions of Route 17A and Windermere Avenue in Greenwood Lake. Overall, the feedback highlighted a strong desire for safer walking conditions, reduced vehicle speeds, and improved visibility at crossings and intersections. A big takeaway from outreach has been finding out how concerned people are over the negative effects of driver behavior, including speeding and distractions, a concern which the crash data supports. In addition to public feedback, the project team conducted an extensive review of crash data to better understand where serious crashes are occurring and what factors may be contributing to them. Using data from the New York State CLEAR database, we analyzed crashes that resulted in fatalities, serious injuries, those are injuries that require hospitalization, and less serious injuries. An important finding here is that the proportion of serious injury crashes in Warwick is generally higher than statewide averages. This reinforces the need for a proactive approach to safety improvements. Between 2020 and 2024, there were 317 crashes involving injury or greater severity throughout Warwick and the villages, including 4 fatal crashes and 74 serious injury crashes. A key component of the safety action plan will be a town-wide resolution made official by legislation to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes to 0 by the year 2050. When we mapped crash activity, we found that over half of crashes occur close to schools, libraries, and parks, all places where our most vulnerable residents walk, bike, and gather. 28 of 53 fatal or serious injury crashes, 53%, occurred within 1 mile of a K-12 school. 70 total crashes, 22%, are within a quarter mile of a school, park, or library. Out of these, 15 are serious injury crashes and 1 is a fatal crash. 198 total crashes, 62%, are within 1 mile of a school, park, or library. Of these, 45 are serious injury crashes and 3 are fatal crashes. Additionally, the timing of crashes revealed another important trend. Many of them occur during the afternoon and early evening hours, particularly during school dismissal and peak travel periods. The hours of 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. have higher rates of fatal and serious injury crashes, 30%, than the next top 10 hours of the day with the highest crash rates. This pattern suggests that vehicle volumes, school-related activity, and daily travel routines may be contributing factors in many locations to crashes. As we develop the plan, we will target our recommended improvements to protect against these trends. The crash data also identified several recurring contributing factors. Driver inattention was one of the most frequently reported factors, appearing at notably higher rates than county and statewide averages. Failure to yield, unsafe speeds, and other driver-related behaviors also appeared consistently throughout the dataset. These findings closely align with concerns expressed by residents during public outreach. When viewed together, several important observations emerge. More than half of crashes occurred within 1 mile of a school. Approximately half took place between noon and 7 o'clock in the evening. Many crash hotspots overlap with locations that residents identified during public engagement. And additionally, driver inattention appears to be a significant contributor to crashes across the study area. These findings suggest that targeted improvements at key locations can address both documented crash patterns and community concerns. In addition to public meetings and surveys, the project team conducted stakeholder interviews with representatives from throughout the community. 35 interviews with dozens of additional conversations were conducted with a diverse group of stakeholders, including transportation professionals, community organizations, elected officials, and advocacy groups. We asked questions about where their greatest safety concerns were, what they believed to be the causes, and what they might like to see in response. Additional input came from emergency services workers like police, fire, and emergency medical services. These conversations helped us better understand local safety challenges and identify potential solutions based on firsthand experience. The interview process reinforced many of the same concerns raised during public outreach. Speeding, driver behavior, visibility challenges, and gaps in pedestrian infrastructure were among the most frequently discussed issues. Stakeholders also suggested a variety of solutions, including stronger enforcement, additional crosswalks, new sidewalks, traffic calming measures, and enhanced public education efforts. The consistency between stakeholder feedback, public comments, and crash data gives us confidence that the project is focusing on the right issues. Following maps show where residents and stakeholders identified safety concerns throughout the project area. Areas shown in warmer colors received a higher concentration of comments. A clear pattern emerged, with concerns clustering around village centers, school areas, major corridors, and key intersections. Feel free to pause the recording as I scroll through a map of each village to see if the concerns other residents have contributed fit with your experience. Greenwood Lake. The Village of Florida. Key points here are on Main Street and out to Glenmere Avenue. The Village of Warwick. Key points here are West Street as well as Brady into South Street. These maps show points in each village where residents specifically reported speeding-related concerns, symbolized with a red dot. Next, using crash data, public feedback, stakeholder input, and field observations, the project team developed a set of priority locations for further study and potential improvement recommendations. Priority locations were identified through 2 complementary analyses. The first focused on corridors with documented crash patterns and safety concerns. The second considered infrastructure gaps, public feedback, and opportunities to improve connectivity for walking and bicycling. This approach ensures that both crash history and community experience are reflected in project recommendations. The following maps and tables show what we've identified as priority locations throughout the town of Warwick and in each village. These corridors represent locations where improvements are expected to have the greatest safety benefit. Many of these locations were identified through multiple sources, including crash analysis, public outreach, and stakeholder interviews. West Street in Warwick, for example, was a topic of primary concern during outreach and rose to the top as well during data analysis. Again, feel free to pause the recording and review our identified priority locations to see if they fit with your experience. Village of Warwick. Village of Greenwood Lake. Village of Florida. With priority locations identified, the next step is developing recommendations that can improve safety for all users. The project team has started working on this and will review our developments with the stakeholder advisory group later this summer. The Safety Action Plan will include a range of recommendations from relatively low-cost improvements to larger infrastructure projects. Each recommendation will include information on expected benefits, implementation considerations, possible funding opportunities, and potential costs. Examples of potential improvements include enhanced crosswalks, pedestrian-activated flashing beacons, improved pavement markings, and intersection daylighting techniques that improve visibility between drivers and pedestrians. These treatments are proven safety strategies that can often be implemented at a relatively low cost while providing meaningful safety benefits. Not all safety improvements require physical construction, however. The plan will also identify policy, education, and programmatic strategies that support long-term safety goals. Potential recommendations may include public education campaigns, support for complete streets policies, updates to development regulations, ADA planning efforts, that's the Americans with Disabilities Act, and active transportation initiatives. Before the Safety Action Plan is finalized, as we're developing recommendations, we want to hear from you again. Your feedback will help ensure that the recommendations we put in the plan reflect local priorities and community needs. As part of the second phase of engagement, residents will have opportunities to review project findings, discuss priority locations, and provide feedback on proposed safety improvements. Additional village-level meetings will be held later this year, followed by a presentation of the final plan. In addition to the Transportation Safety Action Plan, Warwick is pursuing complementary safety initiatives as demonstration projects through what we're calling the Slow Down Warwick program. These demonstration projects will test temporary traffic calming measures in selected locations. The village will work with local artists to design signage and painted roadways that help slow drivers down at key points in the street network. Along South Street, West Ave, Galloway Road, Forester Ave, Maple Ave, and Colonial Ave. The project will allow the town to evaluate effectiveness, collect data, and gather community feedback before considering permanent improvements. In support of these projects, the Village of Warwick has assembled a team of interns to manage a robust social media campaign that will inform residents of the steps their village is taking to reduce vehicle speeds, as well as spread the word about the dangers of speeding and distracted driving. Follow Slow Down Warwick on Instagram and Facebook for updates on the program. We very much look forward to the second round of public engagement as an opportunity to talk more with you all about the progress of this plan and the recommendations we're developing to help make the town of Warwick a place free of fatal and serious injury crashes. Feel free to get in touch with the project team by signing up for the project mailing list on our website, warwicksafetyactionplan.com. You can also review other documents like our detailed Phase 1 engagement summary for more context. Until then, thank you again for your time and check the project's social media for updates. Thank you.